So hiya, today I'm here interviewing my dad Thomas about living with Aspergers and autism. So Asperger's syndrome is an autism spectrum disorder considered to be in the high functioning end of the spectrum. Affected children and adults have difficulty with social interactions and exhibit a restricted range of interests and or repetitive behaviours. So the first question I'm going to ask you today is, when were you first diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome and why were you diagnosed?
We were seeking help for my eldest daughter with mental health difficulties she was having, and she was diagnosed with Asperger's, and everything that related to Victoria's behaviour I seen myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so we spoke to two psychologists who interviewed me
Mm-hmm.
on several occasions, and they diagnosed me with the same problem, Asperger's.
Yep.
That was about 2007.
2000. That's about right. So how does having Asperger's make you feel?
Since I've recently, I was 57 years of age when I was diagnosed. I feel I've missed out on quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
in my life,
Because you didn't know.
because no one knew what Asperger's was.
Uh-huh.
It was up until the 1980s, I believe. An American doctor discovered this.
Right. So do you feel like it makes you different from others in any way?
Yes, social interaction is very difficult,
Yeah.
for me in particular.
Why is that?
I don't like crowds, I don't like being out with people.
Yeah.
I prefer to
Yourself?
stay at home and be myself.
Mm.
Even within the family group, I find it easier if I'm by myself.
Mm. So how did you learn to compensate for being different?
That's been very difficult. I suppose shutting myself away from the rest of the world
Mm-hmm.
is one way I've compensated. I mean, since I've been diagnosed with cancer and diagnosed with Asperger's,
Mm-hmm.
I've tended to become more reclusive
Yeah.
and shut myself away, sort of thing.
So did you have to learn social skills by trial and error? And if so, how?
No, social skills, yes, but always very different with me. Interaction with other people is always different. But as I got older, I'm talking my early 20s, I started turning to drink.
Uh-huh.
I became an alcoholic, and this was a way of compensating. I
Right.
could interact with people then.
Where's your go-to?
Yep.
So what are the most difficult situations to deal with then? Is it social?
Yes, it's most certainly social.
Social.
Fighting to get out for a family meal,
Mm.
great difficulty. I haven't done that until recently.
Mm.
Been-
Yeah. So do you struggle with communication with others and to like spark up a conversation? Do you find that quite difficult?
Extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I would rather avoid it than anything else, but this is my Asperger's. What I gather Asperger's was for me was avoiding situations.
Uh-huh.
To put myself in situations where I had to converse with other people. I would much rather just avoid it.
So have you been in any situations where you feel like your Asperger disrupts your capability of doing something?
Yes, mainly. Very difficult to talk about that one, but at work, in the workplace,
Uh-huh.
when I was younger, I worked in different jobs, painting, decorator, butcher, etc. Always found it extremely difficult to communicate with people or to obey instructions clearly. They had to be presented very, very clearly,
Yeah.
precisely to me.
So are you able to emphasise and understand other people's emotions?
But not particularly, no.
No.
To be honest, I can't. There's no sort of grey area for me in that respect. You know,
Mm.
if somebody's sad and needing a cuddle or something, I don't feel that'll do them any good. What good's a cuddle? You know, it's either black or white to me. There is no grey area. There's no. what do you call it, comforting people.
Right.
I don't think it does any good.
So you can't tell someone's state of mind then by looking at their face? Or
No.
anything like that? No.
No.
Right. So did you have any hobbies, obsessions from a young age? And if so, as you grew up, did you benefit from them?
I had many hobbies. Football in particular was a way of escaping from a sort of like going to libraries.
Mm-hmm.
I was always known as a geek when I was at school.
Mm.
But wood, I was fascinated by wood. And I would go to old buildings, rather than go out with friends and all that after school, or I would go to libraries and read books and just touch the wood that was in the libraries. I used to find that fascinating.
Mm.
You know, go to the Kelvin Hall, used to go there 3 or 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
I was fascinated with the Mitchell Library, was another one.
Mm-hmm. So did you get new like obsessions as you got older, and did they replace like old ones, or like did you feel you needed to control your obsessions to a tolerable standard?
Mostly I had to forget about my obsessions really.
Like with the wood?
Except for with the wood, yes, in particular. I love to feel the wood, I love what could be done with wood, you know, the creating aspect of wood, carving, the carpentry, etc. I love that. Yeah, I had to give all that up. But I could never, I was never a responsible person. I could never accept responsibility
Right.
for anything, you know.
So do you feel like Aspergers affects your relationships with your family and friends? And if so, do you think this is due to the lack of realisation of your differences from like your family when you were younger?
Yes, I was particularly fond of my mother. As I was growing up, I was more mammy's boy than anything else. You know, I never listened to my father, brothers, sisters. I didn't take nothing to do with them. You know, I didn't, it's strange to say, but I didn't care about them. I wasn't really interested. You know, if my mum was all right, then I was fine. There was no interaction between the family. Certainly from my point of view, you know. I could see now that they were all different, you know, they were a proper family, but no, it's said a lot about it. Even my own family just now, you know, I find it very, very hard to interact and do what's right.
And is that due to your Asperger's?
And most certainly, yeah.
So how do you feel living with a daughter who also has Asperger's?
Well, when the daughter was first diagnosed and I was diagnosed, I felt sorry for her. That I'd inflicted this on her. You know, it's because of me she's going it, you know, which is true enough, it skips a generation. Her daughter got it, but she's the exact opposite. She's really aggressive and Asperger makes her do things that she shouldn't do, of course. Like myself, I'm very placid. I'll avoid
confrontation and
at all costs, you know. More the diplomatic type, you know. I just don't like confrontation. Any member of the family, not only my daughter, you know.
Whereas she likes to.
Yes, she's very forceful. I'm quite impressed with her sometimes with how she overcomes
Problems.
Problems, yeah.
So do you feel like you connect more with her because of the Asperger's? Do you feel like you have a connection due to the Asperger's?
I'd like to think so, but I don't believe that's true.
Like, do you know how, like, do you feel like you know how she's feeling more than, like, Mum would?
Do I sympathise more? Yeah, indeed. Sometimes I find it hard to understand why people can't understand the way she is, you know.
Like, compromise and sympathise.
Like myself, she can't see, there's no grey area, it's black but it's white.
Right,
there's no compromise whatsoever, no.
No consequences.
No, she's realisation that there is consequences for all actions, you know.
So my last question is, do you feel that there's enough support for people with Asperger's?
No,
No.
definitely not.
No. So do you feel that you've received, do you feel that you could have received more help in your years, like from therapists, support workers, psychologists and stuff?
No particular situation, no, because it's only been recently discovered, but I felt my daughter could have had a lot more help, you know, people would listen to her, listen to the
Especially
family.
it's when they get to a certain age they just get cut off.
That's it,
The
once
spectrum.
16 we should, no one wants to go on. It's very, very difficult for her, but I was learning all about Asperger's. Mr. Cooper at the Autism Research Centre, he's a foremost expert on Asperger's. He travels throughout the UK and Europe giving lectures on it. And we were with families for 2 weeks and listening to them, and it was unbelievable these poor people had to go up with.
It's ridiculous. And you don't get enough support for them.
Definitely none. You know, it's when wrecking houses, children were wrecking houses, you know, set fire to houses, beating their parents up and their siblings. You know, but no support in place to help them.
No, definitely not enough help for Asperger's. I think Asperger's is looked upon as not as important as other sort of disabilities. It's kind of pushed to the side more than, say, somebody in a wheelchair or somebody who has like physical disabilities.
That's it, because it's an unseen.
Because it's a mental
Yes,
condition.
of course, people tend not to focus too much on that. Most people with Asperger's can get by. You know, on the day, I just don't like crowds or socialising, whatever, you know, I don't like it at all.
So you've learned to cope with it and deal with it and avoid it?
Yes, that was, after all these years living with it, that's the reason why I dressed. I was always dressed in black, black shirt, black jacket, black trousers, black shoes, everything had to be black.